Hi everybody, Meteorologist Pat Cavlin here at the KHOU 11 Weather Center with a severe thunderstorm warning. This just got issued here for parts of Montgomery, San Jacinto, and Walker County. So here is extreme southeastern Walker County. Here is western San Jacinto, and then the northern the northeastern part here of Montgomery County. This is in effect until 3:15. Pretty good line of thunderstorms pushing south through this area right now, and in that line, this is where we're seeing the most severe parts. So you can see a lot of lightning here. You're probably hearing that thunder with all these lightning strikes. It's particularly bad along Texas 150, so right through Maynard, back to New Waverly. Conroe, it's not raining yet, but you could probably hear the thunder in the distance. The worst of this line is pushing in your direction. So pretty much between Conroe and Cleveland, this is where we're expecting the worst of this storm to go. And the reason why the National Weather Service issued this warning was for 60-mile-per-hour winds that were radar indicated at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. So they have a radar site at the airport that actually recorded winds around 60 miles per hour, which does cross over the severe threshold. So just a tremendous amount of lightning right over Maynard right now. If you're watching us from there, it's pretty loud. We're also getting torrential rainfall. Let's check to see if there's any hail as well, because we are seeing a little bit of magenta there. And you can see the lighter gray shading indicating the chance for some pretty small hail, talking about penny to dime size, so not really anything significant at this point. It's really going to be the damaging wind threat. So as we switch over to our velocity, this shows us the winds that are within that line. You can see this is coming from the radar site that's down in League City, so 30 mile per hour just to the south of Maynard, about 20 mile per hour winds. But if I can try to switch us over to the Bush radar site, we'll see if we can get the wind speeds from there. That might be a little trickier to do, but that's where they had some of the stronger wind reports. So got velocity pulled up, and we'll see if we can get this to just be intercontinental. And I don't see it switching over. All right, so again, some pretty gusty winds here through the Maynard area, pushing to the south. Also notice a little bit of red in there, so there could be a little bit of rotation within these cells, within this line as it pushes to the south. That's not uncommon to get within these bigger lines of thunderstorms. On the leading edge, there's a lot of turbulent motion going on, and so that could lead winds to kind of quickly move in different directions. So we could get little brief spin ups. So maybe even funnel clouds, not out of the question with this. But again, the primary threat here is going to be straight line damaging wind gusts. So that could take out power, that could take down some tree branches, some tree limbs. We're not expecting a lot of significant widespread damage, but enough that you want to make sure that you are inside as this storm approaches the area. So again, switching back over to the rain mask, because again, we're just looking at the wind field here. That's what the green is indicating are those strong gusty winds. We are seeing quite a bit of heavy rain again along Texas 150, and this storm is pushing to the south at about 15 miles per hour. So this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 3:15, so about another 20 minutes. And this storm is moving into Montgomery County here, and there is a chance that we could see maybe some small hail. A lot of lightning, though, very electric storms. This line was producing about 300 lightning strikes within the past 10 minutes. So as we zoom out and look at the wider shot, you can see places down to the south and west, we are quiet down there, but as we get you back towards the Conroe area, Cleveland, this is where we are most concerned as this line pushes south. So out towards the airport, if you've got a flight this afternoon, you may want to check ahead with your air carrier, because they may be issuing a ground stop as this line gets closer to the airport. There's a pretty feisty line of storms. And we see the thunder and lightning extending all the way up towards the Huntsville area as well. But again, the one part that we're watching for severe potential is right in between Conroe and Cleveland, going up towards the New Waverly area. So we're going to zoom in. We'll take you in for a little bit of a closer look here. And again, 2:55 now. This warning is in effect until 3:15. Anywhere you see that darker red coloring indicates torrential rainfall rates upwards of 3-4 inches per hour. And the magenta indicates where we could be seeing upwards of penny to dime size hail, but it's really a wind threat, at least with this cell. But as we go through the rest of the afternoon, the two big threats that we're going to be following for you is straight line damaging wind gusts and also the chance for some large hail, although we're not seeing hail as an issue with this cell right now. So again, it's Montgomery, it's San Jacinto, and it's Walker counties, and it's in effect until 3:15. You can see New Waverly out through Hawthorne. We're seeing some of the worst conditions right now. Tons of lightning. Mount Zion down towards Willis, Panorama Village, you're up next. And then beyond that into Conroe. So if you're not seeing anything right now, you're going to be soon as this line pushes to the south at about 15 miles per hour. So it's fairly slow moving. Could see some quick ponding on the roadways. Beyond this, though, we haven't seen anything across the area yet. In fact, it's been a really nice day so far. We've seen a lot of sunshine, a few fair weather clouds down to the south. But we've been advertising all morning long, and even last night, the fact that we could see some strong to severe storms, and now we're finally starting to get that. It's this one little line here that's pushing to the south, and this line is part of an upper level disturbance that's kind of firing up these thunderstorms here. So we're expecting this line of storms here up towards the Cleveland area to push south. So I would expect this towards the Houston area, probably if it holds together around 5 o'clock. At the latest, so along I-10. Bad timing, though, you know, picking the kids up from practice maybe, or just coming home from work. I mean, we could see some issues on the roadways, you know, with blinding rainfall coming down for a quick 20 to 30 minutes. And, of course, we do have that severe component as well. Straight damaging winds, that's the main threat with this line that we're watching. So everyone else is quiet right now. It is northeastern Montgomery County. It is western portions of San Jacinto County, and then it's also southeastern portions of Walker County that we are keeping a close eye on with this cell. It doesn't really seem like it's weakening either. A lot of lightning indicating a healthy storm, a lot of that red and magenta coloring indicating also that it's pretty healthy, and this is moving towards the Conroe area. I think Cleveland, you're going to be left out of the worst of this unless this part of the storm pulses up again, but I do think the core of it now is out towards New Waverly here along I-45. So Conroe, and then beyond that down towards Spring and the Woodlands if it holds together, probably over the next half an hour or so. So this warning is in effect until 3:15. Again, the reason why the National Weather Service issued this warning was for the potential to see some strong damaging wind gusts. We'll get you back over to the velocity setting, which shows us the winds inside here. And nothing really jumps out at me that's too concerning. But again, this is from the radar site down in League City. So the radar beam at this point is looking several thousand feet into the air. We're not getting a really good sample of what's happening at the surface. The reason why the National Weather Service issued this warning is because we have a radar site at the airport at Bush, which is obviously a little bit closer. So we're looking lower into the storm, and that's what's giving us that higher wind gust. Do you know how we could get Tim talking to
55 mile an hour winds?
55 mile per hour winds. Okay, so Tim Pandages off screen there just telling me that we are seeing still that 55 to 60 mile per hour wind range from the Bush radar site. Tim, could you, you're on my computer, would you be able to jump over and could you pull it up for me with the Bush site just so we can show the viewers at home exactly what the National Weather Service is looking at? So again, this is looking from the perspective of the League City radar. That's the National Weather Service radar, but they also have the terminal one. There it is. Yeah, and so notice those brighter greens. That is where the concern is. And I wouldn't be surprised, notice how the brighter greens are now outside of that yellow box. I wouldn't be surprised if they highlighted an area, let's say, along I-45 down through Conroe as an extension for that warning, because this is the area now where we're starting to see some of those brighter colors. But definitely some pretty impressive values in there. As Tim was just mentioning, we got one 60 mile per hour wind gust, another one that's up to 50 miles per hour. So they're pretty localized pockets. But if you get caught under one of these, this could take power lines down, tree limbs, tree branches, and so that could just kind of ruin your afternoon here.
It looks like it's coming across the lake, so over that
yeah.
Water, Lake Conroe.
Yeah. So David Paul pointing out something great as well, coming over Lake Conroe. So if you know anyone that's out there, this is going to be an issue for them as well. Definitely do not want to be, there you go. So there's the new warning extension. So like I said, it looks like the winds came a little farther to the west. And so, you know, this was my crash drawing here, the red. This is the actual new warning now in yellow. So this does now include the Conroe area. They just extended this. And this warning now, this new warning here, goes until 3:30. So they extended this for another half an hour. So we've got the original warning here. This is what we came online for. This one was until 3:15. We've got the new one now, which includes I-45 down past Conroe. That goes until 3:30. And again, 60-mile-per-hour winds being observed on radar with this line. So we do think there's a pretty high potential to see maybe some damage within the path of this storm. So far, I don't believe we're getting any reports of damage. Of course, this is something that we're going to keep an eye on. Those damage reports typically take a few minutes to come in. But if you live in Conroe, heads up, pretty big storm, really feisty storm here with strong damaging winds on the way pushing to the south. So we'll get you back to radar. We'll just show you what we're looking at here. I mean, it jumps off the screen at you, right? A lot of lightning. Wherever you see the biggest concentration of lightning up towards New Waverly, that's what indicates the strongest part of the storm. Also pretty feisty out here to the east of Shepherd, here in northern Liberty County. Nothing severe warned there at this point. We'll keep an eye on that. But this is the main part here, and they just dropped that old warning. So the original warning that was up till 3:15, they dropped it because the most severe component of that storm has now shifted out of that warning polygon. So now we're looking at this area here, the stretch of I-45 from New Waverly all the way down through Conroe. Otherwise, the rest of the area looking pretty quiet at this point. Hail not a concern, tornadoes not a concern, but we could see maybe a few funnel clouds because, again, on the leading edge of these lines, some funny things happen with the winds because you've got wind coming into the storm and then you've got wind pushing down from the storm.
There's a ground stop at Bush until 4, till all incoming flights.
Okay, so we just got this now. All incoming flights into Intercontinental halted until 4 o'clock. So it's an hour. And that's going to have ripple effects as we get into the evening. So again, if you have any flights, if you're picking anyone up, if you are picking anybody up from the airport, I would check ahead with your flight and just to make sure because you're likely going to see delays start to rack up pretty quickly there. And again, that will have ripple effects as we go through the rest of the evening because those flights coming in tonight got to go out again somewhere else to another destination, and so now those are going to be delayed. So big delays here as we get into the rush hour times at Intercontinental, 3 o'clock, getting into 4 o'clock, that ground stop expected for the next hour. So to recap, 3 o'clock now, we are tracking a severe thunderstorm up towards the New Waverly area, pushing south on 45, going about 15 miles per hour. The reason why this warning was issued was for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And like I was just mentioning, before we talked about the ground stop, we could see some funnel clouds on the leading edge of this, but so far the tornado threat is very low. The hail threat is also pretty low. In fact, we'll switch you over to our hail detector, and there's really nothing there. I mean, the gray shading here indicating, hailstones in the clouds that are maybe upwards of penny size, dime size, but a lot of that will typically melt before it reaches the ground. So hail is not the main concern. The main concern for us really is the wind potential, the damaging wind potential, which we can't. Tim, can you switch me over again to the Bush radar just so we can show you the worst of the winds there? So this is the radar looking from League City, and this is the one from Bush. So this is going to be a better view because there's the Bush radar right there on the north end of the 99 connector. So it's not exactly at the airport, it's just south of the airport, but it's close enough. It's much closer than the League City radar, so we're getting a much better view of what's happening in the storm. So within that, 50-mile-per-hour wind gust, looks like the worst of the wind now is just south of New Waverly. Looks like it's now pretty comfortably within Montgomery County. So Conroe, heads up, you are about to get into the worst of the winds here. I'm a little interested in this feature because whenever you see those brighter colors next to those darker colors, that could indicate a little pocket of isolated rotation. It's not strong, but again, this is what I was talking about within these lines. You could get these funnel clouds developing. So these are features that we're going to keep a close eye on. At this point, though, strong straight line damaging winds are going to be the main threat. But again, don't be surprised if you look up ahead of this storm and you maybe see some funny things happening with the clouds. Funnel clouds definitely not out of the question. Very electric storm here, though, moving towards Conroe out of New Waverly. Again, wind speeds here, radar estimated around 50 miles per hour right now. We've seen 60-mile-per-hour values, though, within just the last 5 to 10 minutes. This is pushing south down 45. So if you know anyone that's driving up 45 right now, they are going to have issues. If you know anyone that's traveling in and out of Bush this evening, they're going to have problems as well because we do have that ground stop that's in effect for another hour. It just went into effect, and that is going to be in place until 4 p.m. because of this line of thunderstorms. This isn't just one little isolated storm. This is a big line of storms that extends all the way into Liberty County. So what the airport has to do is they have to stack these flights in holding patterns all around the periphery of these storms to keep them away from that area. So we're talking about delays that could go on, I would say, probably through the evening in and out of Intercontinental. So just keep that in mind. Two big impacts, I-45 and the airport. It does look like the green shadings are starting to lose their vibrancy, which means the winds are coming down maybe a little bit. Still a pretty feisty storm, but the brighter, vibrant green coloring indicates some of those stronger wind gusts. And it's still strong, and we're still looking at a severe thunderstorm warning here. Again, the winds here just to the north of Conroe, around 40 miles per hour, but it's...
We're going to put up a storm track for you.
But it's not, thank you, but it's not the significant 60 mile per hour values that we just saw before. So we're going to put up a storm track just to time this out again. This cell is moving to the south at about 15 miles per hour along I-45. So if we take it out for like the next, let's say 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to have to step off screen for that to happen, Tim, just because I'm up there. So if we take this out for the next, let's do it for the next, that's good, 50 minutes or so. So this takes it through Woodlock around 3:17 into the Woodlands. Just did another one there. Hold on, I'll do this. So if we take it down to the south from Conroe, and outside the warning box down to the 99 connectors. So this takes it into Woodlock around 3:20, Shenandoah around 3:22, the Woodlands 3:26. And now we're starting to get outside of the warning polygon. So we'll have to see if this holds together. But even if the severe threat diminishes, I would expect this in spring, a line of thunderstorms and rain around 3:40. So that's the time frame that we're talking about as this storm moves to the south around 15 miles per hour. So that's the latest on the wind. Let's get you back to radar just so we know what we're looking at here. Again, very electric storm extending here from southern Walker County through Montgomery County and then across all the way into northern Liberty County. A lot of lightning here, a lot of heavy rainfall. Rough go on 45, rough go on 69 as well up towards Shepherd. But the blinding rainfall and the biggest lightning threat and the biggest wind threat is up 45 to the north of Conroe. We are going to continue to update you on social media, on digital. If any new developments happen with this, if we get an upgraded warning, if the warning gets extended farther south, we're going to jump back on. We'll give you an update as to what's going on. But stay with us through the afternoon. Chief Meteorologist David Paul and Meteorologist Tim Pandagis, they're coming up on TV on the 411 at 4 o'clock. They're going to be tracking these storms and the threats for us as we go through the rest of the evening here. So stay safe. Again, if you're in this warning, it's in effect till 3:30 in the Conroe area through Montgomery County. George Bush Intercontinental Airport, and a ground stop until 4 o'clock. And we hope to see you at 4 o'clock on the 411.